Studio this afternoon, we're joined by Kenneth Okwaroh. He's the director of the African Center for People and Institution. A very good afternoon to you, sir.
Very good afternoon.
And thanks for coming. 40 years later, being called a very historic visit for the continent of Africa as well as the people of Israel. I want to start with what the Prime Minister said. And Tel Aviv has had very icy relations with Africa over the decades. The Entebbe raid, there is Israel's dalliance with appetite in South Africa, and most times emotions tend to carry the day. Do you think this will be an easy transition from what was to what it should be? And in regards to what the Prime Minister just said, Africa has no better friend than Israel.
Well, this is diplomatic, so in diplomacy, of course, nothing is easy.
Yes.
But like the PM said, it's a charm offensive. They're coming to East Africa. He's going to go to West Africa as well.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just trying to make sure that they get a lot more votes across the world, because as you've always seen in international forums, there is this permanent decision against Israel, which is what this is entirely about.
Mm-hmm.
They are coming to woo more African countries, how they can help to vote with Israel in international forums, especially in the UN.
Mm-hmm.
You see, earlier on in 2013, the AU had given an observer status to Palestine,
yes,
which the Israeli government has been seeing as is making it harder,
yes,
for them to get resolutions that are in their favor. So one of the objectives of this meeting especially is to get the Kenyan government, which they see as a champion,
yes,
to champion for African states, then to help Israel to get that observer status in the EU.
To get into.
Yeah, and once they get there, then it's going to be easier.
It becomes a different ballgame altogether.
Yeah.
Now, Israel is one country that really has advanced when it comes to healthcare and security. What will it take for Kenya to get there? I ask you this because you're an economist as well and very interested in international trade. So what do we need to do to get there?
Well, as a country, we need to diversify our economy. We have relied a lot for a long time on primary production. We always say that agriculture is our mainstay, though we haven't been investing in it as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you see this relationship with Israel getting into agribusiness, how we can improve our water resource management. We are having cooperation. You see the investments in Galana.
Yes.
You saw the Minister for Water going to Israel, Eugene Wamalwa, and when President Kenyatta was in Israel, they signed a concession with the Israelis about water and agricultural issues. So that is one way that we can move ourselves, our economy, towards that kind of diversified nature. But we can also expand trade. You see, trade between Israel and the whole of Africa has just been 2% of the whole of Israeli trade, and it's just about $1 billion. So there is a huge potential. So this meeting can also help. And the PM came with about 80 businessmen. And
that's what I wanted us to talk about as well, about the thing between 50 to 80 business people have joined the Prime Minister on this tour. What other opportunities are there? Because we're seeing focus on agriculture, healthcare, and security. What other business opportunities are there for the Israelis? And then what else is Kenya going to be giving them?
Well, Israeli farms, some of them are already even set up. I was hearing somebody saying last night about a post-harvest factory of avocado, for example. So they are coming in with businessmen in that, for example, in that line, who can set up businesses to harvest some of our fruits, who can help in how we can process those fruits before they're exported. So that's one area where a lot of those businesses will be looking. There's also how to, agribusiness, how to modernize our agriculture. So there are farms that come in terms of irrigation, how to better do irrigation. So they are also they'll be doing business with Kenyans in that line. But there's also security equipment, because in this day and era of a lot of terror and insecurity in the Horn of Africa, there are Israeli farms that are very diversified in terms of the kind of technologies that they have. So that as well will be an avenue for trade for Israeli businesses. And they say that they would like Kenyan businesses as well to go after this meeting to Tel Aviv and into Israel and talk about how they can also do.
Let's talk about security. We know Israel helps Kenya a lot, and especially in the training of our defense teams. What else is there in store for Kenya when it comes to security?
Well, first of all, it's in terms of sharing intelligence. you realize one of the biggest problems we've had with handling terror issues is with regards to intelligence.
Yes.
Most of the time people know what's going on here and we don't know, or either maybe we're just not using it well. So one of the things will be sharing intelligence, but also how to leverage on the intelligence that we have. So I think that is one area where this kind of cooperation will help. But it is also learning, you know, the same terror issues that we've had here in Kekambala before, in Westgate. These are things we've shared with the Israelis. And the Israelis have had a strong relations with the UK, with the US, and they have more advanced technology, more advanced mechanisms of dealing with this. So I think those are areas where our government and the Israeli government can work together.
Yes. Okay, and finally, you know, there is the issue of we're always hosting bilateral talks. We're always having bilateral talks, but we never, you know, really see the end result. Ideally, then, how soon, you know, should we expect to see some of the results in regard to the bilateral talks that were held today?
Well, like the one that happened in March, the president had floated 5 proposals to the Israelis and Kenyans on how to work on this. The first thing we floated up was to have a joint business committee that then will organize how they begin to talk, the chambers of commerce here and the chambers of commerce the other side. So from the things that are signed today, there are some things that are actionable like that. If you say that you're going to organize a meeting between businesses here and business the other side, we should follow up and within 3 months or after and see what did we do after that. So sort of things like that.
And last question that has popped into my head, there are those who will be very, you know, concerned, saying we're doing a lot with other nations. Are we going to regret this, you know, in years to come, or is this, you know, positive steps? I'd want to hear from you, who's an economist. Are we heading in the right direction with all these conversations we're having with different nations?
Well, you know, in the world we are now, it's a hugely interdependent world where you cannot isolate yourself. You saw what was happening in the EU with the UK.
Yes.
Within a day, you could see how just showing people that they want to draw out, and you see how the currencies plummet, and trade plummets. So we don't want to be in such a place as Kenyans. This is the 21st century where people are trading with one another within East Africa, within Africa. And like we have said, the market that the Israeli government was looking to in the EU right now is dwindling and it's very volatile and
not too
shaky.
sure, yes.
So these are good things. We can move into having bilateral relations or multilateral relations, but we also have got to be careful with what is it that we are getting into, what are the costs. Like you said, will we regret this? But I think that's why we have diplomats, that's why we have economists who advise the president, who advise the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The world is interdependent. We can't say we're not going to do it.
All right, Mr. Okwaroh, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon for that conversation. And I'll hand you back over to Fred.